Recovery. Back at it. Got a powerful one for you today. Pastor just lost his 501c3 tax exemption status. Man, we're going to check that out. But first, Secrets to Recovery brought to you by God's Chosen Ones and the God's Chosen Ones Transition Homes. Doing some powerful work over there. Music brought to you by Anabolic Beats. They're over on YouTube. They're giving out free beats to nonprofits. So you know they hooked us up in the God's Chosen Ones organization. Yeah. We'll let a couple people get all up in here real quick. All right, let's get it. Let's get it. We back. Yeah. So check this out, man. We had a pastor lost his tax exempt status for spewing a lot of political stuff from the pulpit, which is a big no-no according to the IRS. But first, we ran a little experiment. We went out into the community, kind of looked at all the churches in the area. And you'll be interested to see what we find. You know, a lot of these churches in the area, they don't really work with each other. They don't do anything together. And so you have a community that is, you know, overran by drugs, crime, different things like that. And it's flooded with churches. Like just on a city block is a bunch of churches here. And I'm talking about Lebanon, Pennsylvania, but you're going to see this all over the country. So check this out. Let me pull this up real quick, because you're going to get a kick out of this. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Check this out. Oops, wrong one there. So let's do this. All right, let's go over here. Let's turn that on. Go check this out. Oops, my bad. Secrets to Recovery channel. We're back here. Check this out. We're out here just running a little experiment. Check this out. So, let's see here. So let's see. Okay, so like you said, right there, there's a big church right there. You look over there, that's Calvary Chapel over there. There's churches on the corner. I mean, I'm surrounded by different religious institutions, churches, right? I don't even like to use that word because we're supposed to all be one church. Supposed to be one body, you know. But if you go into any one of these churches, you just randomly walk into a church, they're probably not going to give you too much assistance, and that's if they're open anyway. But we're supposed to be one church, one body. You know, if somebody needs help, we should be willing to help. If we have it, we should be willing to help. At the God's Chosen Ones Men's Transition Home, we don't work like that. If somebody shows up to us and they need a place to go, if we have room, we let them in. You know, but you see all these churches that surrounded us, right? And this whole area is falling apart. Overran by drugs and crime out here. And all these churches in the area, and nobody's putting no events together. These places aren't coming together to share resources, to figure out how we can rebuild and rebuild this community. Because underneath all the praising Jesus and Bible studies and all of that, underneath all of that, it's all business. And when it comes to business, when you're running the church like a business, this is what you get. This is why you have 1,000 different churches in one block. Because everybody's trying to set up shop. Everybody's trying to get their little couple dollars in. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people that are sincere in the work they're doing. But because of this, the idea of what American church is, because American church is just another business. And so because of that, the churches aren't really doing any work in the community. You know, we have a transition home right down the street here. Nobody comes and talks about Jesus.
Nobody comes to share the good news about God, even though they have been commanded to, even though the people that we work with need it the most.
Nobody shows up.
Nobody comes.
I won't say nobody,
but if you want to go to church on Sunday,
religious leaders that should be here.
Oh, there's plenty of options.
Giving the word.
Secrets to recovery. God's chosen ones. We'll be right back.
Okay, so you saw that. So we were out there walking around. It's just amazing to us how you could have so many churches in one area and never do they come together, you know. But when you walk into the doors, they're going to be talking about, hey, we need to come together as Christians. You know what I'm saying? So that was just that right there. But now I want to move on. I want to move on to, excuse me, wrong one there. I want to move on to, we're going to look at Greg Locke. Now, Greg Locke, he has been in the news a lot lately. Well, just a lot. He's a popular pastor because he spews a lot of rhetoric. He gets people real fired up. Just a good orator, but the message is all off, especially as it comes to the 501c3, that tax exempt status. Now, that's an important thing that these churches usually go after because that allows them to be completely tax-free. So check this out. So what happened was, let me pull my web back up here, because this is how it all started. Now I'm gonna give you a quick lesson here, real quick, on how this goes. Now this is from the IRS website, so this isn't conjecture. This isn't, this is the real deal right here. So check this out. If you look over here, you'll see under the Internal Revenue Code, all Section 501c3 organizations are absolutely prohibited from directly or indirectly participating in or intervening in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to, let's go Brandon, any candidate for elective public office. So, that's already telling you right there. Now, what happened, there was a workaround that they did they passed in 2018 to kind of get around this, because a lot of churches donate a lot of that tax-free money to political campaigns and things like that. So in order to get that, so that was what we just read on the IRS website. That was actually what was called the Johnson Amendment. That was passed after the Civil Rights era and things like that. Actually, I think it was still in the midst of the Civil Rights era. I believe it was in 1954 that they passed that, because you had people like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, who were galvanizing support through the church because everybody went to church. So they decided to take that out for a lot of different reasons, you could say, but the main one that a lot of people point to is the fact that they were getting all this political money funneling through these churches and stuff like that. So that's how they wanted to combat that. But in 2018, the House voted to make it harder for the government to punish churches that get involved in politics. Now, why would they do that? Because they're getting a lot of money from the church. Especially you think about these big mega church, Pat, they're donating a lot of money to these political campaigns in order to keep these laws the way they are. In a 217 and 199 vote, lawmakers approved legislation barring the IRS from revoking the tax-exempt status of churches that back political candidates unless it is specifically approved by the commissioner of the agency. So they're leaving little doors open and stuff like that. Basically, to me, that just says that if they decide to, they can, So I hate like little laws like that where it's like if they want to, they can, but yeah, I don't like that at all. But check this out. This is Greg Locke. I'm gonna show him and how he gets his congregants fired up. Check this out right here. Let me go over here and get this pulled up here. Okay, so this was put together by Tony Michael's podcast. Those guys, you can find them over there. The clip of this was actually found on the Midas Touch channel, but I believe the Tony Michael's podcast is a part of that family. But they provided some good footage here. Check this out real quick. This is the type of stuff. Now these pastors are starting to tell on each other now. These pastors are having the equivalent of rap battles, street beefs in the church. This is happening more and more. Now check this out right here. This is Greg Locke getting ready to go in. Check this out.
Feelings right now. I'm gonna hurt a lot of my friends' feelings right now. Kenneth Copeland is a heretic. You hear me? Kenneth Copeland is the #1 Christian heretic in America.
Woo-hoo! He hates him some fucking Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah.
Excuse the language on that. These guys, it's an adult podcast, so these guys are going to be,
definitely won't throw down any kind of
using some adult language.
Maybe
the main point is to check out the clips, that they play, because they really did put together a solid montage.
Remember, this guy is
so
doing his sermon in Tennessee, right? It's in Tennessee.
Let me try.
I don't know. Usually he's in a circus tent. Like, literally
paying none of my bills, and I wouldn't take none of his blood money no how.
He's talking about Kenneth Copeland.
Prophets. Quit sending them money and buying their books.
They telling on each other. They all do this.
I don't care how much money he's got. He's got a lot. And he got it off of naive Christians that ought to tithe to their local church and quit sending them money.
Look at that.
Settle in on you for
He's telling on all of them.
He's committing pastoral suicide.
It's not just friends.
Yeah, because Kenneth Copeland, he's at the top of that food chain.
Everybody watching.
So they tell him, you better watch what you're saying. But he don't care. He's going in because he's upset because they're getting ready to take his tax exempt status.
This fucking guy.
He was telling people you can't be Christian and be a Democrat.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't preach for him if he begged me tomorrow on his knees. You know why Kenneth Copeland won't sue me? Because he knows I got the receipts. He's a false prophet. Kenneth Copeland should be under the jail. You would be shocked if you knew what's going on behind closed doors in these pastors' offices.
Wait a second. If this guy knows all this stuff, isn't he culpable into knowing all this
stuff? Now, these pastors
I mean,
know all this stuff is going on, but they use it, to go at each other.
I don't know how he knows if somebody told him he was the cuck in the corner, or he was watching through a little peephole inside of a painting, like a fucking Scooby-Doo villain, right? But if he knows these things, then he is a
Again,
witness,
excuse the language, we don't really talk like that, but it's important to show this video because they really put together a good montage of him doing this. Let me try to fast forward through the talk a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
This definitely has cousin humping.
Apparently they're around. The only thing they get me on being a false prophet is I call out Democrats and preach against demons. Well, if that makes me a false prophet, then la-di-da, da-da-da.
Really, honestly, this is a circus.
So,
I want to see
I'm going to stop it right
really,
there.
honestly.
But yeah, you see, he was going in on Kenneth Copeland, basically saying that Kenneth Copeland was a scam, was a thief. I'm not saying this. We're not saying it, but this is what they're saying, that people should stop giving to them, stop buying their books, because they're using this money to live lavishly. And they'll get on TV and pray for you, but what do you need a 16,000 square foot mansion? Some of that money could go to serving, man. They got fleets of airplanes and all this. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, if we're going to be talking about the Bible, we're going to be talking about what Jesus talked about. That wasn't Jesus' mission. He wasn't out there, a lot of people followed him in his day, but he wasn't out there stunting on them. So, we really got to find a way to take the business aspect out of this. The capitalism mixed with church is just not a good combination. And we definitely got to separate that. We can't be having politics in the church because people really believe that the pastor is getting, is talking, from the words of God. They believe that God is telling them this. If a pastor tells you to vote either Republican or Democrat or whatever, you're going to take that as a sign like, well, God's telling me that. Now, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying people that, go to church and they have, submitted to people with authority, spiritual leaders. And if they feel like the spiritual leader is leaning one way or the other, they're going to lean that way. And that's not fair to put that kind of pressure on people. So, yeah. Let's go back here. Once again, had another one, man. Go back here. Let's get this going again. Bang. Secrets to recovery. been the Secrets to Recovery, man. We brought you another quick one. Got a little serious on that one, but hey, we got to talk about it, man. We got to talk about it. Secrets to Recovery brought to you by God's Chosen Ones and the God's Chosen Ones organization. God's Chosen Ones Transition Home. New women's facility coming soon. Look out for that. And if you or a loved one needs a place to go, trust me, it's a good place to contact. God'sChosenOnes.org. Go to their website, reach out to them. They'll get back to you. Contact them through their contact form. They'll get back to you, and they don't need any upfront costs. They can work with you on that. You know, we understand that people that are going through a rebuilding phase, often they don't have money. So anytime you need anything like that, reach out to these people, man. They'll help you out. Warren Garrett, Secrets to Recovery. We'll be back.